Hello everyone, and welcome back to another WARNO deck deep dive. This time we return to the 5th Blindee, the French tank division that we haven't had a look on in a while, and it is a pretty hot division at the moment with a lot of interesting plays in tournaments, so I think it's really the perfect moment to get back to this quite unique division. Before we jump in though, quick shout out to the WARNO Swiss Championship. Uh, the 2v2 event that we will have on the 31st of August. We already have a good number of teams. There will be a prize pool, and it's a Swiss style format. That's where the name comes from. So if you sign up, you will play all 5 rounds for sure. Yeah, sign up with your teammate. A couple of divisions, relatively easy rules. Everybody is welcome. With the Swiss format, it also means that you get to play all 5 games. Plus, the games will be pretty balanced, especially towards the end, because you will play against players with similar stats. Also, more information about WARNO League Season 2 and the next Super Tournament coming up soon as well, so keep an eye out for that. And yeah, let's get back here into deep dive with the 5th Blindee, where we start in the logistics tab with the VAB PCs as 2 of our CV cards here. They are fast, they have a 50 cal that can be handy sometimes. Yeah, and that they have 8 hit points and a bit of armor, so they can survive an artillery hit or 2. So pretty decent supply with the TRM 2000 and the Puma. Quite solid as well. You don't get anything massive supply-wise. And the tab is a bit limited, but it is still okay. The remaining CVs here in the tank tab with some AMX 30s, so 6 cards of CVs, all vehicles, as the infantry tab doesn't really allow for much room here. So that's a bit of an issue, but it's still fine. And then we have the infantry tab here, where we start with some VAB Milans, or Milan 2s and VAB Milans, which is a pretty solid combo. The VAB Milan still fantastic with its 50 cal, and the Milan on top as just an ATGM spam vehicle. And that goes around. The MX-10P Milan is okay, but it's too slow. You want your Milan 2s in fast transport, so the VAB here. Perfect combo to start the ATGM spam in this deck. And then the other thing in this deck is the Autocannon spam, and that is helped now by the Chasseurs and the AMX-10Ps. With the AMX-10Ps being cheaper nowadays, so especially with the Escort, they are around cheaper. And that's good, because they were pretty terrible IVs, and for 40 points, they were just overpriced. For 35 points, they are quite solid. They have an autocannon, they have some frontal armor. That's all you want from an IV. They have smoke launchers, so yeah, they do their job okay. The escorts are super cheap infantry as well, 25 points. Security trait, so a perfect combo here. This unit, the Chasseurs with the LRAC, can hold a flank as well. So really strong infantry. Gruppe Anti-Char here as some more units that can come with the VAB Milan for the ATGM spam part of things, and the Apilas also murders vehicles, so one of these together with some reservists or together with some escorts works out quite nicely. And then the Grenadier Voltigeur with Apilas, strong holding unit. VAB here with the 50 cal can be good fire support as well. So all of that works out quite nicely, whilst the reservist is just your spam unit that flies around to hold bases. I am currently testing reservists and 50 cals a bit, but I feel like still having some chewy infantry is necessary instead of the slightly better unit for holding, that is the 50 cal. So yeah, I stick with the reservists for now. Artillery is a strong tab of this division as well. It's only 3 units that you can choose from, but the 3 units you can choose from, 2 of them are pretty good. And one of them is the VAB PM mortar. That thing is okay. It has a machine gun, it has a mortar, it is fast, can reposition really quickly. That's really nice on wheels. And yeah, the 82mm mortar, not the greatest, but it can lay smoke nicely and reposition without being killed. And 65 points is a really fair price point for that. And then the AMX AV1 is just a fantastic artillery piece, thanks to its autoloader. That means that it has a fantastic rate of fire. Even with 50 cal can sometimes help out in a pinch against any fast vehicle that tries to come by, like a BRDM or something that tries to bully you. But yeah, especially the gun is just fantastic on this thing. It's so strong. With its rapid fire, 2 of these can just shut down any kind of town and destroy enemy ATGM positions one by one, so that your tanks can push forward. And the tanks are the next part with the MX-30s. And they are really, really good damage dealers. Their main guns, the MX-30B2 and B, not the most amazing damage dealer. The Brennus, at least with 19, can do something. The frontal armor of these tanks is abysmal. The 9 frontal armor of the MX-30B and B2 gets one-hitted by a decent amount of things out there. TOW2s are absolute pests to play against with this deck. But the autocannon is fantastic to deal with infantry, and you kill enemy light vehicles off quite quickly. You can reposition your tank formation really quickly as well, and that makes this pretty scary for anything that is reliant on softer units, and they can overwhelm that quite quickly, enemy light vehicles and so on. Autocannon can help out if your main gun misses against a ATGM IFV, for example, as well. So that is quite strong. And then your ATGM spam continues here as well with the Mephisto and the P4 Milan. Both really cost-efficient, strong ATGM carriers. The VAB Mephisto, thanks to the hot missile that has great range and good accuracy, which is a nice addition in because the Milans, obviously with only 2,450 meter range, can be a bit lackluster on some positions. So the Mephisto comes in hot there, and then the P4 for the rest of the positions where its 24 penetration and slightly lower range and accuracy are enough, and its good stealth can come in handy. So yeah, really another addition to the ATGM spam, mixing Mephisto with some VAB Milans, for example, can hold a position quite nicely and threaten enemy armor, or stunning down the enemy armor and then allow your tanks to kill them. So that is quite good as well. And that combination continues in the Recon tab here with the MX-10RC as your big gun carrier, quick gun carrier. That is quite pricey though, and 4 of them is really pricey, and I feel like you can't protect them well enough to afford all 7 of them. So yeah, VBL Milan here is the other unit that I use for getting around with another ATGM. So the amount of ATGM vehicles in this deck, really solid. And then you have strong Recon as well with the Dragon Para and the Eclairs that also have a solid AT here. Dragon Para, decent damage output, GSR, pretty solid Recon unit. So that combination allows you to really see everything on the battlefield while still having killing power in your Recon tab as well. One of the strongest Recon tabs in the game in my eyes. And yeah, really helpful. Dragon Power only lacking maybe a smoke grenade or something that hopefully comes in the future at some point. But outside of that, really strong Recon tab. AA tab, the roll-ons nowadays are better. I kind of wish I could fit the TRM 2000 in here as well as a fast redeploying 20 mil that is cheap. Though we still get them with the VAB T2013, so it's not really lacking. It's just that in this combination you have to buy them with the Mistral, and that is quite expensive. So you have to, always find a slot when to slot in AA. But the AA you get is pretty good. The Roland 2s are solid. The Roland 3s are good, and the Mistrals are the best manpads by a long shot, thanks to good range and good accuracy and good damage. And the VAB T20 is solid at dealing with enemy helicopters, hunting them down, but driving quickly. It's similar stats here to this 20 mil, so yeah, that is not the issue. It doesn't really do well good damage to vehicles. That's a bit of a issue still of the 20 mils, but yeah, infantry it also does okay against. Helicopters, more ATGMs. The Gazelle Cannon, unfortunately not that great. The Gazelle versions though, they are good. They are good, and they can be really obnoxious for the enemy. So Gazelle Hot 2 and Gazelle Hot can come in really handily to deal with the enemy and hitting them with the ATGM. If the enemy doesn't bring AA and they try to push with heavy tanks, a cheap Gazelle can shut down that push really quickly, and that's the lovely part about Gazelles, that they are so affordable, and one of them forces the enemy to get AA, or they just can't push forward with their tanks because those missiles hit like a truck, so you don't want to push into them. And then the air tap has some solid strike capabilities. The Jaguar HE can nuke everything. Mirage F5 cluster is pretty solid as well, and they're both fast and can get out. The fighters, not the greatest. Mirage 3Es nowadays really lacking because of their amount of missiles and the strength of the missiles, and then only having 8 hit points, so they can get one-shotted. In the Mirage F1C is fast, but its missiles are still somewhat lacking. So that is for sure not perfect, but together with the Rolands, it still should be enough to keep you safe. And it's still good helicopter hunters. Like, both of these planes are still good helicopter hunters, and that can be helpful in this division from time to time as well. So yeah, this is 5th Blindee. The playstyle that you want to achieve is getting your tank blurb online, having a couple of solid defensive infantry that stop enemy vehicle from going by, and then getting enough autocannons and ATGMs to just overrun the enemy, whilst your artillery smashes any stronger position that the other units might not be able to get close to. So, yep, solid deck. Really, really good deck. A lot of great plays with it. Its lack of armor is a bit frustrating sometimes. You can lose units quite quickly in this deck, but you also can kill units quite quickly. So, yeah, it's one of the most class cannon kind of divisions in the game, and I really enjoyed it. So, yeah, see you next time with the gameplay for this division. If you don't want to miss that, consider subscribing to the channel, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye bye, and have a great day.